In today's world, unconventional relationships, marriages, and families are all rising topics of public discussion. Similarly, NBC's comedy The New Normal, which premiered in September of 2012, deals with the concepts of same-sex marriage, single parents, and alternative methods of reproduction. In order to uncover the underlying messages and stereotypes found in this multimodal text, it's imperative to take a closer look at what is being normalized versus what and who is being excluded, both consciously and unconsciously. Before we begin to pick the show apart, let's indulge in a brief plot overview. The New Normal tells the story of Brian and David, a gay couple living in Los Angeles whose relationship is missing one thing: a baby. Fortunately for them, Brian and David cross paths with Goldie, a single mom living in Ohio with her 9-year-old daughter, Shania. Ready to begin a new life, Goldie agrees to move to LA with her daughter and become a gestational surrogate for Brian and David. As the plot unfolds, the characters come face to face with various obstacles in their relationships with one another, as well as the outside world. Now, let's take a look at what is being normalized within the new normal. Meet Brian and David. As the title of the show implies, the main purpose of the new normal is to normalize unconventional relationships, beginning with this same-sex couple. The show depicts Brian and David as a typical couple that are equal to any other heterosexual pair. I find it important to point out that Brian and David are the show's main characters because although there have been gay people portrayed on television in the past, they are usually secondary characters meant to remain in the shadows. By shining the leading role light on Brian and David, the show is already beginning to normalize same-sex relationships as acceptable. The new normal continues to familiarize its audience with same-sex relationships by showing moments of affection between Brian and David. The new normal does a great job of portraying the love shared between this pair as they would with any other heterosexual couple on television. Brian and David are often seen cuddling in bed, kissing, and embracing one another. In today's world, there seems to be a certain stigma that same-sex couples should not display affection publicly. For example, in episode 3, a stranger publicly harasses Brian and David for sharing a kiss in a department store. The stranger, who is accompanied by his son, argues that he does not want to have to explain to his child why two men are kissing. In order to normalize same-sex couples showing affection, the show acknowledges that these situations do happen, but in the end, the new normal proves that there is nothing wrong with two males sharing a kiss. Marriage equality and same-sex parenting are two additional topics being normalized throughout the new normal. The fact that Brian and David get married in the end and are portrayed as fit parents goes to show that having two dads as parents is nothing out of the ordinary. Furthermore, the underlying message of the show seems to hint that unconventional families, such as these, will become more and more acceptable as time goes on. Now, let's focus on the mother-daughter relationship between Goldie and Shania. The new normal normalized many of the issues surrounding single parents. Today, there seems to be a perpetuated stereotype in existence that says that single parents, especially single mothers, are not fit to be parents. Conversely, the new normal portrays Goldie as a fit, capable, smart, and providing mother to Shania. Contrary to popular belief, the new normal shadows the stereotype that says a woman needs a man to survive and shows Goldie and Shania getting along fine without a male figure in their lives. It's also important to point out that Goldie has a respectable job and a stable income, further proving her capability to be a single parent. Now, you may be asking yourself what the new normal is trying to normalize when it comes to the idea of surrogacy. It's as simple as this. By showing how magical it is for Brian and David to have a baby with the help of Goldie, the new normal is not only proving that anyone can be parents, but it is also saying that not everyone can conceive the, quote, normal, unquote, way. Therefore, surrogacy becomes acceptable. Now that we have analyzed what is being normalized throughout the new normal, it's time to take a look at what and who is being excluded. When it comes to unconventional relationships, marriages, and families, there are groups of people who are being excluded from the plot of the new normal. Furthermore, there are a few underlying stereotypes and hidden messages that need to be revealed. First, let's take a look at who is being excluded. Because the show only portrays a same-sex couple that is male, what does this say about lesbian couples? Is it suddenly normal to be a gay man, but still taboo to be a lesbian woman? I found that although the new normal is very beneficial to its viewers, there is an underlying message here hinting towards the fact that lesbians are still not acceptable in the public eye. Moreover, what does this multimodal text say about men who are single parents? Is the role of a single parent meant to be played by a woman because of her supposedly nurturing instincts? Or can men also do a good job raising a child by themselves? Unfortunately, the new normal does not answer many of the questions that are formed due to issues of who and what is being excluded. This brings us to a number of stereotypes that are being perpetuated. First, let's talk about Brian and David. I find it interesting that Brian is portrayed as a stereotypical gay man who loves to go shopping and look his best. On the other hand, David is seen as the more masculine of the two, the man with a respectable job as a doctor, the one who likes sports. By analyzing Brian and David's character traits, it's easy to see how the new normal could be insinuating that all gay couples have to look like this. There has to be the feminine one who's into fashion, paired with the one who's more masculine, the one who likes sports. What does this say about other gay couples that look nothing like Brian and David? Now, let's look at the relationship between Goldie and Shania. Although portrayed as a fit mother, Goldie is a shy and timid woman. Is this to say that all single parents are not strong and in charge of their lives? Here, a stereotype of single mothers is created. And what about Shania? Shania is portrayed as a unique child, someone out of the ordinary and different from all the other children. Is this to say that kids who have one parent are different than everyone else? Will they not have the same experiences and outlooks than kids with parents do? Here, yet another stereotype is born. Now that we have examined what is being normalized, who is being excluded, as well as various stereotypes and hidden messages, it's important to reveal what all this means for the audience. There are two sides to my conclusion. The fact that the new normal is trying to normalize unconventional relationships and families is absolutely wonderful and beneficial to the audience. Thanks to this show, people who relate to these characters' situations can feel as if they are not alone, or as if they are, for lack of a better word, normal. That being said, with normalization comes exclusion. The hidden messages found throughout this text create a number of stereotypes that leave some groups of people feeling left out. Unfortunately, not everyone can identify with these characters. This is the show's one downfall. In the end, the new normal does a great job of normalizing unconventional relationships, non-traditional marriages, and all different kinds of families.